meeting you where you are. The meaning behind the slogan is that we meet the community where they are on their journey towards holistic health, a plant-based lifestyle, and veganism, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. We do this through people, food, events, and culture. Our 6 pillars are birth, eating, education, empowerment, enlightenment, and events. We are Black Veg Society.
We are live. Thank you for tuning in. Let me help you, a loved one or friend, find your vegan soul through food, people, events, and culture. Why plant-based nutrition for athletes? Well, here to answer that question today, all the way from the UK, is Dr. Leila Dehghan from the Planted Academy. How are you today?
Hi, Naijha. Thank you for having me. I'm good. Thank you. It's really great to be here.
Absolutely. So, Dr. Leila, you developed a certified online plant-based sports nutrition course, and one of our very own from the Black Veg Society, Crystal Foreman, has contributed to this course. And I've heard it's really had some strong feedback so far. So please tell us, why is plant-based nutrition so important for athletes?
Well, as you know, protein is still probably one of the biggest questions non-vegans have when it comes to plant-based diets. I mean, we still hear that, and you would think, by now people should know that you can get protein, on a vegan diet. And of course, when people think about protein, they think about muscle, strength, and athletic performance. So there is still this perception that athletes cannot get enough protein without animal products. And I feel like plant-based sports nutrition is still treated as something alternative or fringe. And it is sad because we have had really strong evidence for years now, especially the last few years. And I think, the documentary, The Game Changers, after it was released, it helped make people more curious about, being athletic, being, an athlete on a plant-based diet. And I remember I was giving a lecture to students on a master's program. And, the majority of those students were genuinely interested in learning more about plant-based diet. And there was this one student who came to me afterwards. She was really like build, like a bodybuilder. And she said she was actually a bodybuilder, but vegetarian. And she said she always struggled to, go vegan. So, and she said she's gonna, give it a try. So, when we look at vegans or people who try a vegan diet, a lot of people are interested in a vegan diet or in a plant-based diet for other reasons, because they are interested in health, climate change. And after the Game Changers, I feel like they felt like, okay, maybe a plant-based diet can actually help. Or let's say, I think it's more people feel like it shouldn't harm, because that is the message they get, that the plant-based diet may be actually damaging your health. So I think after the documentary Game Changers, a lot of people wanted to give it a go. And when we look at sports nutrition science, it is clear that plant-based diet can offer a lot of advantages. Our muscles, but even our brain. Our muscles actually run on carbohydrates. And whenever people talk about low carb diets, I'm like, there is no evidence, to support a low carb diet, especially for athletes. So plant-based diets, as we know, are rich in carbohydrates, and that is what our body needs. And that is what our muscles need, to support our training and the glycogen stores. But also, there are so many other benefits. I could go into, why plant-based diets, they're higher in antioxidants, phytonutrients, and they reduce inflammation. And remember, exercise causes an inflammatory response in the body. So if you eat a diet which is high in anti-inflammatory compounds, that can actually help the recovery. And plant-based diets is also good, for cardiovascular health, heart health, better blood flow. All of that is important for athletic performance. And, honestly, I always say health or good health is the foundation of performance. If you're healthy in general, that's already a good starting point for athletic performance and recovery. So I think, by going plant-based, by trying a vegan diet, you can support your own health and your athletic performance. But, and I really want to say that, it is important to be realistic and evidence-based. Just simply removing animal products from our diet, that's not going to make us healthy or improve performance. And I think that is where education plays an important role. We need to understand, for example, especially for athletes, energy intake is so important, what supplements to take. And anytime I hear somebody saying that, they tried vegan and they blame their diet for any problems that they face, I know it is because of poor planning. It's not the diet.
Yeah, and I do some high intensity training, and I always get the look or the stares like, you can't buff up without taking some type of supplements on a vegan diet, so and like that they down on it like it's a bad thing. But look, vegan athlete Tori Washington is going to Mr. Olympia this year, 2026, fully vegan. Look at that body. Such a success story of proven by a vegan athlete. So this is a very important topic because there's just this disbelief, and so I'm happy that you have come out with this online course. So is the course just targeted to athletes? Because where I work out at, they like, you're all athletes. So who is this plant-based online course targeting? Let me bring it up.
You're right. Anybody who is physically active can be called an athlete. So it is, it's a right question. And no, to be honest, whenever people hear sports nutrition, and it doesn't have to be like plant-based sports nutrition, they often think about, elite athletes. But if you're honest, elite athletes, they have their own coaches, they have people who support them, right? So yes, sure, athletes and anybody who is physically active, I call them hobby exercisers, they can definitely benefit from the course. But it is also useful for personal trainers, healthcare professionals, students, and even people who simply want to understand nutrition better. Because what we did is we included the basic science in a very accessible way. In fact, one of the best compliments I ever received was from a vegan healthcare professional. And she told me it was one of the best plant-based nutrition courses that she had come across. And for me, that really just confirmed that we had managed to make the science both accessible and practical. I really wanted the course, sometimes, especially with the sports nutrition or just with any science, it can feel quite intimidating, isn't it? You feel like, oh gosh, am I going to get the language? You need to have a science degree to understand it. So for me, it was really important to make the content feel approachable. I wanted people who don't have any science background at all, even somebody who's just finished high school, they could take the course and still follow the content. That was really important for me. And at the same time, I wanted it to be evidence-based and I wanted it to be comprehensive because it almost feels like it is a one-stop course for all things sports nutrition on a plant-based diet, of course. So it covers everything, from the usual stuff like hydration, recovery, protein, but also lifestyle factors, things like stress, sleep, and even breathing, how to kind of improve your breathing for athletic performance. So we covered all of that.
Let me ask a question because obviously this course was developed, in the UK, for the UK. I see approved for 15 CBD hours. If you can explain what that means. And is this just for people in Britain, the UK? How does this apply to the United States?
Well, the science is the same, obviously. The CPD is the continuous professional development. I got that from the British Society of Lifestyle Medicine. because especially among healthcare professionals, lifestyle medicine is a new science, a new emerging science, especially about among plant-based healthcare professionals. And I felt like that would be an extra incentive for them. They have to get a certain amount of hours every year so that they can stay on the register. So I thought it would be an extra incentive. I don't know if I know, for example, I'm a registered nutritionist, and even the Association for Nutrition, if you say you do this course, they accept a certain hours. I don't know if it would be 15 hours. So I assume it could be the same with other associations, kind of professional organizations we are talking about. So yes, it is accessible to everybody around the globe. And it is interesting because we have had a lot of people from South Africa, because another organization that I'm partnering up with is actually in South Africa. And Australia and New Zealand is another organization I'm partnering up with, and also Canada and the US. So the usual English-speaking countries, you could say, yes.
I love it. It is awesome. So what we're seeing here is right now, Black Veg Society is promoting this course. We have one of our very own, Crystal Foreman, founder of Holistic Wellness and Health, who has contributed to one of the modules in this course. And we are advocating for purchase of this course because we're looking to reach more people through alignment in the communities and to support animal advocacy. And we'll get back to that because I have a question for you about that. So Black Veg Society is now an official affiliate partner. So when you purchase this course using the link that I'm going to put in the comments, you are supporting our organization. And I will share that link in the comments. Why do you feel it's important for Black Veg Society to be in this partnership with you, Dr. Leila?
Yes, that's a good question.
How do you think? Yeah.
Well, to be honest, the reason I reached out to you is because I think you would agree with me that something that is still lacking in many mainstream vegan spaces is representation. And I appreciate organizations like, Black Veg Society that challenge those norms, and you are creating a space for BIPOC communities, and that is what is really needed. And I feel like in partnering with BIPOC-led organizations, we can actually make evidence-based plant-based nutrition more accessible, make it more relatable to, communities which are, I don't like to say marginalized or we are not really a minority. But I think
we're not. We're the global majority. You know that.
Yes, and it is such a shame, but we don't really make it to the mainstream spaces. And I feel like that's why we need to partner up with each other. And that's why, one of the reasons I said, I also partnered up with, an organization in South Africa. And I just said, we need to help each other. We need to increase that representation. And especially when it comes to sports nutrition, these spaces are very much white still, and I'm talking not just the plant-based sports nutrition, but, in general, they're not only white, they're also male-dominated. So I love to bring sports nutrition education, to communities that are often overlooked in mainstream or conversation. So I think, by partnering up with BIPOC-led organizations, we can help BIPOC communities feel seen, represented, and also more confident in actually engaging with this sort of, content.
I love it. Back to the topic or the question I had about the course that you've developed. How does it align with your work as an animal advocate, and you're trying to broaden your work? How is this course, do you feel, going to help you with that?
Yes. Well, I found actually my way to plant-based nutrition through my animal rescue kind of, activism. I used to be a dog rescuer. And, when you work with other rescuers, you cannot be a rescuer without going either vegan or vegetarian. Even though it is dog or cat rescue, when, you see how, they are sentient beings, you just extend the same compassion to other animals. So anyway, I got, I went vegan because of my animal rescue work. And then I had chronic health issues. So I actually started changing my diet, my vegan diet. That's why I'm saying, a vegan diet is not necessarily a healthy diet. You need to plan and understand it. So I changed my vegan diet to a whole food plant-based diet, and I healed my chronic migraines. And that's how I got interested in plant-based nutrition. And I, got a master's degree in plant-based, I got a master's degree in nutrition. And I have been working as a nutritionist since then. So for me, plant-based nutrition has never been just about individual health. All these systems that harm animals, but also the food systems, all these oppressive systems, or the systems that are harming the communities, our communities, are connected. So I think for me, and I also understand that each person has a different entry point. Some people care about animals, and that's how they change their diets. But some people care about the climate, for example. And some people want to understand the science first, understand that they are not going to harm their health before changing the diets. And I think that's all okay. We need to respect and appreciate that. And so I think, I hope that this course can help people to see that they can still carry on, being physically active, enjoy their chosen sport, but also there is no need to harm animals. They can reduce or, stop the consumption of animal products. Now, another thing about this course, which kind of links to my animal advocacy, is I wanted this course to benefit animals, also like kind of animal advocacy in practice. So from the very beginning, since we launched the course, we have always donated a certain percentage to charities. Now, it took a while. We, donate to an animal shelter in Gaza, and then, to Palestine children. So we donated to different charities, but then we decided that from now on, 20% of every sale will go towards supporting animal shelters in Iran. I'm Iranian, so that is quite close to my heart, that I can help those animals in Iran.
I love it. Yeah, you gotta give back, and
paying forward. It's about really paying forward. And I think, I always, I think I actually mentioned it on the website, when people sign up, they are learning something new, but at the same time, they are helping someone else. I think it is, we need to pay forward. That's how we can help each other.
Exactly. We have to keep it amongst the alignment in the communities, and absolutely, we must help each other. You also, your Planted Academy site, if you could tell us a little bit more about the specific work that you do, because in looking at your main website, I see you have a guide to a free course, a guide to plant-based eating, which is very important, because there's always a number of questions about how do we start this journey? Where do we go?
True. And to be honest, I should have probably developed that first before creating the plant-based sports and exercise nutrition course, because I started giving talks after I developed that course. And after giving those talks, and I also give talks to other healthcare professionals. So one of the most common questions was, how can I learn more about the plant-based nutrition, and how can I go vegan? How can I eat more vegan food? So I realized that I need a free resource where people can learn about the basics. And not just the basics, but also how do you change habits? How do you get your community and your family and friends involved? And, how that happens, and how do you approach it? Because not everybody's going to change overnight. And, sometimes I think, you have to be ready. So, and sometimes you go, you change your diet in stages. So that's how we created the Planted Guide to Plant-Based Eating, and it is available as a free resource. Now, again, I'm Iranian, and for me, it is very important to give back to my own community. And there are some Persian resources in Iran, but a lot of that is actually translated directly from English resources. So you can imagine they talk about the American standard, diet and the standard American diet, and so they have translated that. So people don't know what do you mean by that. So a lot of those resources in Persian are actually culturally not relevant. It hasn't been adapted to Iranian foods and culture. So after I created the Planted Guide to Plant-Based Eating, I translated it into Persian, making it more culturally relevant to Iranian food. And
I love that because that's very important. Making sure that in this movement, when we're educating, that is culturally relevant, because that is, some of the challenge now. Cultures don't feel this is for them because of how it's portrayed in the mainstream media. And I know when we work in the movement, it is about the whole food plant-based diet, just not a bunch of eating a lot of processed vegan food. So folks, this is very important. Planted Academy, we're going to put that link in the comments so that you can have a chance. If you're not going to get the sports nutrition course, definitely take this course. It's free, and the modules are definitely intro and what you need to know as the basis of introducing yourself to plant-based eating and transitioning to plant-based diet, the whole nutrition behind a plant-based diet, building a balance, and cooking techniques, along with troubleshooting and sustaining a healthy plant-based lifestyle. So if you're not into all the scientifics or not ready for the scientifics, then you have the basics. I'm going to do both. I can tell you that because I'd love to hear your perspective in the modules and how you're teaching this. So this is going to be incredible to experience. I mean, it's been a long time since the whole plant-based Kamala initiative that we had years ago, Dr. Leila. So I appreciate it. Are you working on any other future projects? And not that you haven't done enough.
No, certainly, the plant-based sports and exercise nutrition course was the first course, but I'm interested on wider education projects around plant-based nutrition, decolonizing nutrition, kind of, culturally rooted approaches to food and health. Long term, I would really like to shift how we think about nutrition, because, we have the wellness culture, the diet culture. It's a very rigid, kind of a narrow definition of what is health, what is healthy. And so I hope to create more educational resources which are inclusive, evidence-based, of course, but also socially aware, justice-based. And I think these are the things that I feel is often lacking, in other, educational resources and courses that is available in mainstream vegan spaces.
Folks, you heard it straight from Dr. Leila, Planted Academy. I'm going to bring up the website again so you can see both of the courses that are there. Again, let me just make sure that everyone is aware that Black Veg Society is now an official affiliate partner. So when you purchase the plant-based sports and nutrition course, certified course, using the link that I will put in the comments, you are supporting our organization, and we need all the support we can get. Yes, Black Veg Society has aligned with many continents in North America, Africa, so we're building, we're growing, and now we got the United Kingdom in partnership, and we appreciate the offer to promote this sports nutrition course that one of our board members has definitely contributed to. So we definitely want to show our support, and we appreciate your support in purchasing this course. So again, there you have it. Why plant-based nutrition for athletes is very important. If you haven't seen Game Changers, the documentary, please watch that and go to the website and choose what will best help you. If you're introducing yourself to the plant-based diet, go through the free course. If you're trying to advance, purchase the 7-week course, Plant-Based Sports and Exercise Nutrition. Is there anything else that you wanted to add, Dr. Leila, before we go? Your last call to action?
No, I think that's it. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure talking to you, and I love your enthusiasm. So I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Dr. Leila, again, it is a pleasure. Thank you for reaching out to Black Veg Society. This is what we do. We meet the community where they are, with a focus on Black, Indigenous, and people of color. So this type of opportunity is definitely in alignment. So all the way from the USA to the UK, big up, big up, big up. We love it. Thanks again, folks. And yeah, plant-based nutrition all the way, all day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Meeting you where you are. The meaning behind the slogan is that we meet the community where they are, on their journey towards holistic health, a plant-based lifestyle, and veganism, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. We do this through people, food, events, and culture. Our 6 pillars are earth, eating, education, empowerment, enlightenment, and events. We are Black Veg Society.